Hey, this is 6-Bolt Von Doom's Lab. So this video is about Hook of the Reaper release version 1.1.9. So you're wondering, I had another release, version 1.1.9 quick release. What's the difference? None. This one has a video and explains some of the bugs and enhancements I fixed in it. The other one was just get it out to fix a bug. So, okay, well, what was that bug? It was for the House of the Dead 2 remake. And so, what kind of happened? Yeah, good question. Don't really know. Still confused. And really, to tell you the truth, I don't really care. I mean, I hate drama, want to stay away from it as far as possible. But one thing that happened in it, I do want to kind of talk about is the person put the code in and the ammo value for the recoil wasn't working, so they switched to recoil. But the problem is no one knew how to switch the default LG game file from using ammo value to recoil. So, which is, I guess, not too surprising. I don't think really anybody has done anything with default G except for me. I make all the files. I mean, you download Hook of the Reaper, it comes with hundreds and almost 200 game files. Actually, it's almost 300 game files with 200 games. So, yeah, no one really does it. Then I'm there. If a new game gets come out, I make it. So really, no one really ever had a reason. And the sad and frustrating thing is, I'm sure some of the people in that group could make a MAME hooker INI game file. And this is probably where, if you know Hook of the Reaper or not. Because since day one, Hook of the Reaper supported MAME hooker INI game files. So they could have just wrote a MAME hooker INI game file for it. But they thought they had to use default LG. So as I'm saying, I wasn't there, so that's why I'm totally confused. I just woke up one morning and it was there. So like I said, I'm not really mad at anybody, anything. It's just I don't know what happened. I think some drama happened, and I'm gonna stay away from it. But so I just want to make sure people know that yes, Hook of the Reaper does MAME hooker INI game files. You don't have to do that, and that kind of goes with the one video the person made. So what happened in that video is there was a debug version of the software that got out with my file, and that debug version didn't work with the ammo value recoil. So they had to switch it to recoil. And I guess they were mad that they had to learn default LG and it was hard. But again, could just make a MAME hooker INI game file. you know, That's kind of like the funny thing. But that's why I don't think anybody knows Hook of the Reaper sometimes. I think people get it. You put your light guns in, you set up the emulators and Dual Shooter, and then it just works, right? You don't really even see it. It's totally different from MAME hooker. So no one ever has to do anything with it. So so that's why it's like, oh, your documentation bad. No, I don't think it is a documentation problem. I think it is a problem with people just don't knowing the software and what it can do, which is kind of sad. But, I think like I said, people just, they put your light guns in, get it set up, and it works, and they just set it away, never touch it kind of thing. New game comes out, they grab it, put it in. But that's kind of, yeah, that's why I say it's not a documentation problem. Like I said, if they went through the documentation, they would have saw that the Hook of the Reaper supported MAME hooker INI game files. Like, I think right here on the front page, right here, the two different kind of MAME formats right there. MAME hooker INI game file format. And even, where is it? It's pretty quick. Oh, right here, game file, INI game files. You can use MAME hooker INI game file. So, yeah. So I don't want to dwell on it. Like I said, I'm not mad. I'm even with the person in the video, I don't even know if they knew that was a debug version of the software. They could have thought it was official release. And they thought, hey, I was helping them. And I wasn't even there. So the person could just be thought something else. But since he made a video showing the wrong version of the software and the recoil going wild, I felt like I had to make a response to it. Because I seen what happened like the retro shooters. When somebody made a bad MAME hooker INI game file that made some guns overheat and everybody freaked out about it. Then everybody's like, oh my god, Reapers are overheating, Reapers are overheating. So that's why I thought I had to respond to it. Because I had to say, hey, that was a debug version of the software, not the public release version. I don't think I was too mean or anything. I think it got taken off of Light Guns Lunatics, but sorry, but it just, yeah. So if I did anything during the House of the Dead 2 remake stuff with anybody, if I made any problems, I'm sorry. I don't think, like I said, I wasn't there. I just woke up and confused as hell. And also, my daughter was like leaving. She's gone now. And I had to deal with all that during that time. So, yeah, it was pretty frustrating. Okay, so now that we kind of gone through that, let's just get on with the stuff. So let's go through the bugs that we had. So the first one was default LG game file test fails if you had slow mode. So I put slow mode in, I think in version 1.1.7 or 8. I think it might have been 8. And this is just kind of update it on the test for it. So as you know, and I help out a lot of people if they ever do a default LG game file or a MAME hooker INI game file. Hook of the Reaper has where you can test the game file. So you don't need to load it up with a game. You can actually test load it up. And Hook of the Reaper, if there's any problems, will tell you exactly what line has the problem and sometimes exactly where the problem is. So that test was failing if I put slow mode in. And slow mode is you put slow after P1 or P2, and that will put in slow mode, which reduces the recoil rate. So I fixed that. So it was a pretty simple fix, just kind of updating it so the test stuff worked with slow mode and works with all the other stuff. Okay, so that was one bug. Then the next one is cannot change players for MAME start and MAME stop signal and default LG game file. This one was a little different. This is like in this example here. Like I've been doing a lot with the Nixos emulators. And I saw like, hey, what if you want one light gun in joystick mode and the other light gun using the mouse and keyboard? Okay, well, you need to separate those, right? So you can do MAME start, then go all with open command. Then you can switch just to player 2 and put that into joystick mode. So then player 1 would stay in mouse and keyboard. So when I did the update with the recoil and reload change to default LG, I stopped anything to do with players. You couldn't switch players anymore. But now that I did that on the Nixos emulators, I'm like, well, there's probably a good reason where somebody would need to do that, especially with main start and main stop. So now I fixed that. So now you can change players for main start and main stop. So in the states section of a default G. So there's just those two output signals, which is the start and stop of a game kind of thing. Okay. So that was fixed in there too. So now let's look at the enhancements that I did. So the first one was a simple kind of just getting some more performance. So most of the time, as I was saying, when you're using Hook of the Reaper, you don't even see it, right? It's just minimized in the tray icon. So I was still running the display timer and all that. So if you have it set to default, it's 400 milliseconds or 0.4 seconds. It was updating the signal. So it's not that big of like performance or anything. It's pretty small, but now if it's minimized in the tray icon, it's not updating the signals during a game. The only time where it did this is if you're in a game or not. So now, if it's minimized in the tray icon, it's doing nothing with the display values or anything. But if you open it to the desktop, it will automatically just put the signals in the current values up, then start the timer again. So I tried it out. It's working. It's stopping when it's minimized. And you can't really even see. You tell it to go to the desktop, and by the time it gets to the desktop, it has all the info on it. So there's pretty much no change you probably a normal person would see. There's probably maybe like 0.1% performance boost. But I felt like, yeah, I should probably just put that in pretty quick. Okay, then the next one might be useful for some people. And that's how I load up the file for player assignments. So when you change player assignments, it's stored in a file in data directory called playersass.hor. So when you save it, it saves that file. And I know some people change this file if they wanted to change the light guns. But the problem is you would have to go into Hook of the Reaper to reload and update that into the program. So even though you change this, it never get updated to Hook of the Reaper. But now I changed it, so now when a game starts, it actually reloads and updates player assignment. So if you're not in a game right now, you can go to the file and change player assignments to change your light guns around, save it, then open a game, and when that game starts, it will reload playersass.hor, get the player assignment, new player assignments, and put that into effect with the game that was just started. So I think a lot of times, like drive builders will, shut down Hook of the Reaper and restart it just to reload that player assignments. So now it's not needed anymore. Now you can just start it and it'll reload it automatically and update it. So it's updating anytime a game starts from the file. And it's from the file, like I said. So hopefully that will help out people who do like drive building and people who want to change the file versus, doing it in the GUI windows and all that. Then the next one I didn't write down. It's actually the best is probably to look at here is I have block signal for shake and recoil rumble to solenoid command. And the reason why I would need this is what kind of happened is I know I have some shake features that shake the light gun during the start. So when you load the game up, the light gun will shake until you get into the game. And that's because of the attract screen. So when you load the game up, in the arcade, it's flashing its lights and it's like, come play me, come play me. So that's why the gun shakes, because it's off that light signal control. But once you start the game, I can use features from that light, because that light is synced up with other features, but only in the game. So I can probably get rid of that shaking or limit it, to a very small amount. Like right now, I know Jurassic Park is one example that I just did, and it starts vibrating from the time you start the game until you actually get past the level select. So once the level select closes, then it stops shaking. But with the block feature, I tested, it doesn't shake when you start up the game. There's no shaking only when you get to the level select. Then after you select it and that closes, then it stops shaking. So I got it down to just the level select, which is really nice. But it's pretty cool because then when you get the electric weapon, the freezing weapon, and the shotgun weapon, all of those vibrate when you fire, which is kind of cool because the electric and freezing don't have recoil. So when they vibrate all the time, it's nice. Then the recoil one just recoils and vibrates kind of when you shoot with the shotgun, but it's supposed to try to make it more powerful, right? It's a big shotgun you're shooting. So that's really cool. Then the second side is when you do the shooting sequences in Jurassic Park, where you have to hit these certain targets and it slows down time. It will vibrate during those. Then the last one is during the cutscenes, it will vibrate in some places too. So I think it adds a lot to the game, especially with the weapons and the shooting sequences, because they're pretty short and all that. But, it's supposed to ramp up, anxiety trying to get the targets and all that. So that's why I would need this kind of block option. So I put it in. So right now, here, you can see I have options, block, shake, E0. So that says block shake when the block signal equals 0, right? That's kind of how it's set up. Well, then I have the block signal down here. So you have player's life is tied to the block signal. So when life is 0, it blocks the shake, right? So this says block shake when life equals 0. And that's kind of how it's set up. Which kind of leads into the last point, as you can see here, to hopefully not have some of the problems we had. I wrote out a quick thing for default LG documentation. So this has, all the commands you can use with, even with the block signal down here. Then how the player stuff is set up. Kind of the original default LG before I put the recoil and reload stuff in, which you can do. And those those game files still work. So they're right here. So, you know, to find out how they work. Then this is the recoil and reload. I put a lot of information in here. Plus, I embedded the 1.1.5 release, which has like 40 minutes going in detail about everything about it. So hopefully people can understand it now. Then I just had the slow mode, explaining how to do slow mode. Then the options, kind of which I was talking about, which goes into the blocking the shake and the recoil rumble to solenoid. So that went in version 1.1.9 in the quick release. Like I said, they're both the same. This is just, you know, the release with the video, normal release. But that's it. So I'm probably going to take, probably a break from, probably after some of this. So I probably won't be online for a couple of days. So maybe more. Who knows? But until then, bye.